bring in independent researcher David Bruce now. And David, thank you so much for joining us. So I know you've been listening in. We know that money doesn't automatically fix a problem. Absolutely it doesn't, but it can help. How positive do you think we should feel that there is a real shift in the budget in Gauteng to try and make a real difference to the crime problem here?
Okay, well, today was not only the presentation of the provincial budget, it was also President Ramaphosa also responded in Parliament to questions from opposition parties and so on about government's responses to crime. What President Ramaphosa emphasized was, first of all, that policing is a national function, as he framed it, and that the major direction in addressing the crime problem needs to be, so we need to be looking at a national level for the main kind of thrust of government's responses to crime. So if we're talking about what the provinces are doing and so on in terms of the current governance arrangements, we're talking about certain kind of supplementary measures that potentially they can put in place.
Yeah. The President also speaking today about the fact that we just don't have enough police. And we know that there is quite a focus on that to try and deal with that problem. But the other issue that keeps coming up every single time the police minister goes out to speak to a community, he talks about, you've got to help us as a community, you know who the criminals are, you've got to speak to us. The President was also today stressing the importance of communities working with police. And, money cannot fix a trust deficit. But surely only once police start showing that they're making a difference, surely only then does trust within a community grow. How do we get this right?
Right. Well, you see, I don't think it's something that we can resolve overnight. I think that what we need is very kind of purposeful approach from government to strengthening the police, to clarifying what the police can and can't do. Unfortunately, in terms of the inputs that I heard from the President in response to the questions in Parliament today, I wasn't persuaded that government is actually giving serious thought to these issues. So, it didn't seem at all convincing. It seems that government is repeatedly falling back on a kind of framework that is in many ways outdated. And there isn't, there wasn't clear evidence of real consideration being given by government to these issues about how to strengthen policing, how to address these questions of trust and so on.
Yeah.
So the short answer that I would give is that we need effective leadership around this issue from government. And unfortunately, I don't see evidence of real consideration being given to the problem.
Yeah, the leadership issue is just coming up again and again. And even with this Nahawu strike, certainly the strikes have shown us just how quickly violence can spiral. The health department is telling us on the program last night that they felt the response from the police had actually been inconsistent. And I got a sense that was them being very diplomatic. Why do we have a situation where our police seem to be reactive and slow to react at that, rather than proactive? It's an ongoing problem, it seems. Is it a lack of leadership? Is it lack of intelligence sources on the ground? What's the problem?
Well, it's an interesting question, because I think in the case of a strike of this kind, it would definitely have been the case that there would have been advanced information about the strike. It's also supposedly one of the main focuses of this investment in recruitment that has been made by government has been in expanding the number of public order police. So one would imagine that they better equipped to deploy public order police to a situation like this. And so, and so I think it would be good to ask the police about the inconsistencies in their responses.
Yeah. Independent researcher David Bruce, thank you so much for chatting to us. We've got more news.